as I walked up to this beautiful place, I said, and why isn't it 5 o'clock? Then I realized it is 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Angela, it's so great to see you in this incredible environment where you are clearly using your experience as a social worker, a master's degree in social work, to create an experience known as therapy, to understand that this community needs this. We need this healing time. And you are someone who is at the forefront of just feeling this sense of I don't want to say normal, just better than normal. We have to get back our mojo and get back that New York City vibe that makes us so proud of where we live. And you are part of that comeback story. So let's give another round of applause to Angela Terry, the owner here. I also want to acknowledge my leader in breaking down barriers and making life a lot easier for our restaurateurs and people who have liquor licenses, and that is the chairman of the State Liquor Authority, Vincent Bradley. I want to thank him for helping us go back 100 years and re-examine laws that were put in place during Prohibition that are literally still on the books today. So he's turning his agency upside down, and I appreciate his leadership and his vision for how we're going to do that. Max Bookman, again, was introduced, but he was very much involved in the New York City Hospitality Alliance in just trying to make it easier for people. And I thank you for bringing your legal talents to this as well. Chiose, I want to thank our council member for his leadership, brand new on the job, all right? But so you can also take credit for the recovery of your community. So very good timing, very good timing. So look forward to working. And someone I've worked very closely with for a number of years, and that is our Senator Jessica Ramos. And I thank her. And borough president, I love borough presidents. I come out of local government. So it's always about the county executive and the BPs who are the true leaders. But Antonio Reynoso, I want to thank you for being the great leader that this community needs at this time and for being a partner of ours as well. So let's give him a round of applause. Annette Robinson, who embraced me years ago as a family member. I reminded her back in 2014, people were like, who's Kathy Hochul? She took me to the restaurants and the businesses and made sure that I had a chance to understand the needs of this community. And thank you for being, as we celebrate Women's History Month, a leader in breaking down barriers for women as well in elective office. Annette Robinson, let's give her a round of applause. And Randy Pierce, who I've worked closely with, the Brooklyn Chamber. Yeah, we saw some tough times, and your vision and your sense of optimism really kept this community going. So I want to thank Randy for all you've done, and a number of other individuals, our community leaders, who will be recognized as well. Again, I love the name of this wine bar. I think we can brand this nationally if you want to, a little franchise. We got your lawyer Max over here. So just, it's really a public service for this community. Just that now more than ever, we realize how important human connections are. Because once you're denied something, once it's gone from you, once you're in isolation in your own house and going through some tough times alone for many individuals, to come back together, there's a special sense of, it's a gift. It's a gift to be able to have friendship and new romances blossom in places like this, and just feeling very human again. And that's the environment that you've created here. And I'm so proud that a change in our law has allowed that to happen. So this is why we're here today in this fabulously diverse and interesting community. I've been here many, many times. And as Angela mentioned, I signed a bill into law that did open up temporary retail permits. We did it right before the holidays, December 22nd. And before then, there was so much red tape. Is that a net? I say, do you have any good music for us to listen to? I'm feeling that we need something to keep us going here. Okay, all right. That's all right, my friend. That's all right. But for businesses that were just trying to figure out what the future brings, how we come out of this, there was still too much red tape. It was still a colossal hassle based on laws that had been in place for so long. And so you submitted an application back in September, a traditional path for on-premise alcohol back in September. I think that's still pending. It's still out in limbo land. And so what we did with our temporary permit application, we received your permit on January 13th, and you received it just 3 weeks later. And that, to me, is transformative. So that's why we're able to stay open for business here in Brooklyn. And so it's more businesses like Angela's need that help. We have to get the word out that we're going to break down the barriers because we have been through so much. And also, I just love efficiency. I have reformed various levels of government. I look at every single policy that's in place and say, why is this here? Justify this for me. And if the answer is because that's the way we've always done it, I will say, wrong answer, you're out, bring in the next person who's going to give me a better vision. And that's what we're doing here, is empowering the SLA to reach its full potential, to continue its work to help our businesses not just survive, but to thrive. And that's what the whole objective here is as well. And we think about how hard the restaurant and the hospitality industry was hit during this pandemic. We lost at one point 64% of our workers. I mean, it was just devastating. And I don't have a lot of experience, 5 years working in a restaurant. I was actually underage to be serving liquor, but I had a really bad boss when I was a teenager, and he probably broke some rules. I'll just get that out there. I was underage. I didn't know any better. But I understood, how hard people work in those jobs, how people are so proud of the name of the business when they walk in the door, or they wear it on their uniform. There's a sense of pride being part of this, serving others in a very special way. So we lost a lot of those workers, and how we find our way back and to re-energize this whole industry will really be a signal that New York is back, when every single restaurant that was shut down, every single bar, every single hotel, everything is back, but back even better than before. Understanding, again, this dynamic of human connections being so critically important to our psyche and our emotional health. And that's something that Angela knows a great deal about. So I have found other ways to not just sign this into law, but I said, as long as we're looking at it, let's really put this under a microscope. And we also announced that we're investing more in the SLA. I mean, they've been doing what they can with the resources they've been given, but they have over 75,000 applications a year. 75,000, that's extraordinary. And that's over 14,000 license applications, 30,000 renewals, 20,000 special events, 10,000 just other. I don't even know what other is, but it's 20,000. They have 114 employees and 30 dedicated to review of those 75,000 applications. That is impossible. And they also have a backlog of 3,700 applications, and that's something we're going to deal with right now, and that is mean hiring more people, giving them the resources that they've been asking for, did not have, and that means we're allocating $2 million to hire 39 more employees and 30 people dedicated exclusively to the backlog, so we can start having this explode with energy and excitement and new businesses and businesses that have been waiting for their renewals. We're going to get it done. And we're going to be doubling the workforce, almost doubling the workforce with those stages. So also, computer technology. We can do a lot more efficiently. We can do this by having online applications. Kind of radical concept, I know. I mean, I'm kind of going out there on a limb, but they have not had the resources to build the infrastructure to do what they wanted to do. So we're going to reduce processing time literally by months by allowing people to apply online. And right now, it can take on average of 26 weeks. We're going to shave that down to almost nothing. So I'm real excited about that. Also, who would have thought that this would be the most popular item in my entire budget? I've got $10 billion for health care and education, $31 billion, $32.8 billion for infrastructure. We've got all these great projects, but the one thing that went viral was to-go drinks. And you gotta love New York, right? So we are proposing to permanently allow bars and restaurants to sell to-go drinks. The regulations, and we want a lot of commentary on the regulations, is how we do it, will be processed and reviewed by the agency, and they'll get them from the public, from the industry, and we want to hear people's experiences on how we can make this be very successful and leave no business behind. So we saw that this was a critical revenue stream. This is what kept people afloat during those dark, dark months and years of the pandemic. And we said there has been a change in people's attitudes. There's an expectation now. So why set us backwards, whether it's that or even the outdoor dining experiences? I mean, how fabulous is it to go down the streets of New York in every borough and see people dining outside? And so we actually put a significant amount of money in our budget as well to help them recoup those costs. I mean, it's not cheap to pay for those heaters that you have outside, or what people did with scaffolding and try to make a whole different experience outdoors. I think it's amazing. It has transformed people's image of their city like ways you could not have foreseen. And so we're going to continue helping those small businesses have money to offset those costs as well. So also something, when I visited family in another state, I have a lot of family that left, sadly, Virginia. Why can't you have a drink in a movie theater? That's very common in other places. I know we have some representatives from Senate here. And I'm not saying during Bambi. I mean, but there's. I love Bambi, but I digress. How come Disney always kills off the mother? I just want to say. I mean, did anybody else ever wanted that? Okay, I got it. I think it's the therapy of this experience that I'm going through here. So I'm kind of letting loose here, Angela. So yeah, we'll have a little counseling session afterward. Counseling for politicians. This is gonna be great. But we really have to get through and just look at all the laws that are in place that are holding us back, and so we're going to keep doing that. Find more areas of red tape, and so we are actually going to be convening a group of individuals to just look at the laws and get back to the ABCs of the ABC law and question every part of it. So I'm going to continue doing that. Investing in our small businesses, the movie theaters, our restaurants, our bars, and just really, truly doing everything we can to reduce the burdens that the people are living with, and increase funding to get businesses not just open more quickly, but also temporary permits for craft manufacturers, lowering our costs. And so we've got a whole agenda. When people say, well, this one law to take a look at, I said, this gives us the opportunity to re-examine our entire process, whether it's this, where I look at issues like applying for MWBEs, what a hassle that is. Okay? And I helped start a small business for my mother, a little retail business. I had to go through the whole process, so I'm personally seared with the knowledge of what a hassle it is. And I was a new lawyer, and I didn't know what I was doing back then. We had to pay lawyers to do what I couldn't do because it was so complicated. So we're going to change this. And I want everybody to know that New York State is not just open for business. We are open for the best, most vibrant, exciting businesses in this country. So to the rest of the world, come on back. We are open. We are so excited to welcome everyone back after the long pandemic. And I feel the energy in rooms like this all over this great city. So thank all of you for being part of this experience. And Angela, you are a rock star in my book, and I'm coming back at 5:05. So with that, let me introduce our next speaker here. Let's see. You know who you are, next speaker. That would be Max Bookman. Great to see it. Representing the New York City Hospitality.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Max Bookman. I'm an attorney, and I'm counsel to the New York City Hospitality Alliance, our industry trade association here in New York City. Just a few acknowledgments before I make some brief remarks. Henry Butler from Community Board 3. Our community boards play a vital role for our small businesses. They're also an important first step in the liquor license process that the governor was talking about, and having community board leaders that get it, that understand the importance of our small businesses, the stress and sometimes trauma of going through the process of getting open, getting your permits, getting your licenses, having a community board that gets it and understands that needs to be pro-business, while of course balancing the needs of residents, is extremely important. Melissa Fleischut from the New York State Restaurant Association, our partner in crime in Albany. Our partner in justice. I love that. Thank you, Senator. And Greg Bishop from the Social Justice Fund, who Angela spoke a little bit about, and really great to have you present here. Governor Hochul, I raise a glass to you. I think on behalf of all of the industry, the bar and restaurant industry, we're all raising a glass to you and saying cheers for your leadership, for your really breath of fresh air when it comes to this industry and it comes to our antiquated alcohol laws, You spoke, your presence here speaks great volumes. You talked about 100 years. Yes, Prohibition ended almost 100 years ago, and we still have some laws on the books that were written in that time that have not been materially changed at all. Sometimes it feels like 100 years to get a liquor license in New York City. And so having some sensible policies designed to improve the process, make it easier for small businesses to get open and operating faster is a no-brainer. So we really appreciate you being here, your thought, and the attention that you're devoting to this area, which has really gone overlooked for some time. I have a 2.5-year-old at home, and I think some people can appreciate this. When she goes to bed, my partner and I, we could use a drink. We really can. And the ability to get a cocktail or some sangria or a frozen margarita from our local small business, our small local mom and pop restaurant with our takeout order, with our to-go order, is huge. It's usually convenient, and it's a win-win. It's a win for us. It's a win for the small businesses. And by the way, we're still customers of our local liquor stores who have fared much better and really have not experienced the same challenges that the bar and restaurant industry has faced during the pandemic. So it's not an issue with our local liquor stores. I just want to take a moment also to thank Chairman Bradley from the New York State Liquor Authority. You've been an excellent steward of this agency for several years, as the governor alluded to, an agency that's been overlooked in terms of budget. And so we at the Hospitality Alliance are confident that with the additional resources that Governor Hochul is giving you in your agency, you'll be able to utilize those to make the process easier for small businesses that are trying to get open. And you're constantly looking for, within the constraints of the law that you have, you're constantly looking for ways to implement smart, pro-business alcoholic beverage policy. Recent example of that is the movie theaters, and we hope to see more of that to come. You also helped implement this new temp law that was passed very quickly, and Angela is a testament to that. I mean, Angela was one of the first businesses to be issued a temporary liquor license under this new law. And the last thing I want to say about that is that it was not a groundbreaking idea to have temporary liquor licenses for bars and restaurants in New York City. In fact, upstate and in Long Island, they've been able to have that ability, I think, since Prohibition ended, certainly for the past decades. So what this law did, this temporary law did, is that it created parity for New York City small business owners who are disproportionately people of color, women, compared to the rest of the state. So having just this common sense to get that law to your desk, to sign it, and to quickly implement it at the SLA really meant a big deal for businesses like Angela's, and for many other similarly situated small businesses in New York City. So Governor Hochul, thank you. Borough President Reynoso, it's nice to see you, and thank you here for your leadership. Senator Ramos, thank you for being here. You were instrumental in getting the temp bill passed, and the Alliance really sees a partner and a supporter in you for our small business industry, bar and restaurant industry. You get it, and we know you get it. And we look forward to working with all of our elected leaders, the community stakeholders who are here today, to help implement more smart policy for our bars and restaurants so we can help this hurting industry get back and become better than it was before the pandemic. With that, I want to introduce Chairman Vincent Bradley, Chairman of the New York State Liquor Authority.
So as anyone in the Hospitality Alliance knows, the hospitality industry knows, the hospitality industry was hit as hard as any industry in the country during the pandemic. These small businesses are the backbone of our economy, and we must do everything we can to help them recover as we come out of the pandemic. Governor Hochul's budget, as she mentioned, has significant changes to not only the law but also to my agency, and I want to thank her personally for that. I can't tell you the level of morale that went up in my agency when they heard that the licensing staff was going to double. It went from 30, and in the budget she added 30 more. We have, as she mentioned, 75,000 applications a year, and we had 30 people examining those applications, and it really was just a numbers game. We are constantly working to try to make things more efficient, and it got to the point that it really was a resource, and I can't thank you enough for the additional resources, because they're going to transform the review process of the applications. The next aspect, which was something that the industry has been clamoring for years, as well as myself, is the temps in New York City. And along with the legislature, you got that done as well, which is really unbelievable. I think that's going to be transformative for New York City. Typically, it takes about 26 weeks, as you heard, to get an application in New York City, and it can be longer than that, depending on issues in the application. Ms. Terry got her temporary in 15 days, and we expect that will be probably the low end, but it should not take more than 20 or 25 days to get a temporary, which is, you know, when you think the alternative is 26 weeks, that's just a remarkable difference, and it's certainly going to change the business prospects of the people that are opening these businesses, because once you meet with the community board in New York, before you can even file the license, you have to give 30 days notice. You're paying rent in most instances at that time, then for the 26 weeks after that. This is going to allow revenues to come in significantly earlier than they ever would before. So I want to applaud both of the legislature as well as the governor for getting this done, because as Max pointed out, it has been available in upstate probably for over a decade at this point, and it was always opposed in New York City, and you were able to get that done. So I want to congratulate you for that again. The governor's budget also cuts the red tape in order to expedite the application process by eliminating onerous and over-inclusive requirements currently required by law. These are time-consuming requirements that the applicants are required to submit to us, frequently submitted with errors, which means then we have to send them back. It adds on to the licensing review time, and there was no real reason to make many of these submissions in the first place. It goes back, as Max pointed out, over 85 years at this point, and it's not a few laws in the ABC law that go back that far. It's most of the law. Most of the law that oversees the liquor licenses in the state of New York is 85 years old at this point, and that law never comprehended, obviously, society today. It never comprehended business today, and it does need changing, and I, once again, thank you for your leadership in directing us to do that. The next proposal, which is obviously very popular, is the drinks to go. I saw firsthand during the pandemic, I was out in the street most nights, and I saw firsthand the lifeline that drinks to go gave to the small businesses. But I also saw that they recognized that was a revenue source for them that could be very, very helpful in the future. And I think that working with the regulations, I think that it's certainly something that should move forward, and I congratulate the governor for putting that in the budget. I can't tell you the amount of restaurants I walk into, and it's the first thing I'm asked about every time. When are we getting it? When are we getting it? And I tell them to call their elected officials, and and hopefully soon. And then finally, the recovery from the pandemic means that our nightlife and hospitality industries, which are billion-dollar economic industries, particularly in the city of New York, bounce back fully. I applaud the governor's leadership for both recognizing the ongoing hardship that the pandemic has caused and for taking substantial actions. And I can't tell you, these are substantial. I have been here for several years, as Max pointed out, and nothing like this has been done during my tenure. And this was all done in a very, very short period of time. So I want to commend the governor as well as the legislature for the temp bill. And I'm looking forward to making more changes because I think the industry recognizes and I recognize that they need to be made. So thank you. And at this point, I'm going to introduce our new Brooklyn Borough President, Antonio Reynoso. And
I can't tell you how happy I am to be here in the center of the universe that is Brooklyn, New York. Welcome to anyone that's not from Brooklyn, but you're welcome to stay as long as you want. Governor, thank you so much. I tell you, I had a conversation with Governor Hochul, I want to say 3 months ago, and there are so many things, tearing at this city, and a lot of people are working very hard to keep it together. But the number one complaint that I received as borough president is about liquor licenses. Not homelessness, not crime. I'm getting calls about liquor licenses. So I meet Governor Hochul for the first time since she's become governor, and I'm not talking to her about these pressing issues that are very important to the state of New York. I'm asking her about a liquor license. And I felt that It's sad that that's the conversation I needed to have. But with all these restaurants trying to survive, they're at wit's end, that this was something that was very important to them. So I brought it up to her, and she said, I'm looking into that, Antonio, and I think we got to do more. It's not just about your individual license that you're advocating for. Like, we can do more. And now we're here in the first day of March on Women's History Month, talking about a change, a reform to the entire state liquor authority and the way we're going to be doing business and how we're going to be handling alcohol in this state. And to have somebody go from thought to application that quickly is truly a testament to the leadership of the governor. So I just want to thank you for that work. Thank you so much. And I just want to say I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I have 2 kids at home, so I want to just say, Max, I got you, brother. Let me tell you, I can't tell you how many to-go drinks we got during the pandemic that were extremely valuable. But it's just, it's vibrant, it's live. New York is where you need to be. The summer's coming. This is going to be jobs, by the way, significant amount of jobs. There were 2 extra people in a local restaurant called Carnival in Williamsburg. 2 extra people just doing the drinks to go when everything was shut down. Those people can come back and continue to do that work. The streets were lively. And I want to be honest, this is about love. This is about making sure you feel it in your soul. The recovery is not going to be just material. It's not going to be something that you touch that's tangible. It's about bringing our souls back, bringing our life back. And this fun, this entertaining, this exciting Brooklyn, this exciting New York is what it's about. And this is going to help do that. So I want to be back out there. I want the summer to be vibrant. I want to have a great time. I wish it was 505 as well, Governor Hochul. I thought the governor bamboozled me in bringing me in. We said wine therapy. I was like, oh, we're going to drink. I'm excited. But no, it is. And then Amit told me it was too early. No, but again, I just want to thank the governor again. And then for this small business, everyone says that small businesses are the backbone to our society, the backbone to our city. And very rarely do we get to do anything that shows that. We never get to pay it forward, ever. They just talk about it. We never walk it. This is actually doing something about it, removing red tape, giving a change in the way that they receive their application, changing the life of a black woman business owner, like actually changing her life in a meaningful way. So again, this is for not talking about it and actually doing the work. And I'm so grateful that you're here. To everyone that has come out today, don't make this the last time you come here. They need your business. So I want to make sure everyone here, in some way, shape, or form, comes back. It doesn't need to be at 5:05 today because there's already 2 customers coming in at that time. But frequent your shops. Get out there. Have fun. The mask mandates are coming down. Omicron is come down. The science is there. We're getting safer. Enjoy yourselves. Show love to each other. And don't forget to spread love because it's the Brooklyn way. Thank you. And I would like to call up my sister in justice from another borough that's good, Queens, Senator Ramos.
You okay? All right. Well, good morning. Thank you, Madam Governor, for inviting me to this auspicious occasion. I think we've been trying to deal with a lot of issues with SLA for a good while. And really, it is about helping our communities recover from this pandemic in the best way possible. I always say that I want my neighbors to dream of opening their small businesses and actually be able to do it. And in a town where our commercial real estate really does have a firm grip and the rent is still too damn high, anything that we can do to pay it forward to help our restaurants and our bars and our taverns really flourish is really important. I mean, unfortunately, Amazon, of course, has really taken over a lot of the business that used to flow through our commercial corridors. And our restaurants have become just that much more important. We also saw how our restaurants stepped up throughout the pandemic, even when they had very little, to actually feed entire communities. And you know, over in Jackson Heights, we have really good food in my district. You know, whether it's a restaurant, a food truck, one of our street vendors, there's great food and there's great places really to build community. That's what all of our small businesses do. That's what all of you guys do. And I think we're forever grateful to you. It's on us, on this side of government, to figure out how we can work together so that we can serve you better. And I'm very happy to see a governor who doesn't shy away from these fights and actually steps up in a way that is meaningful for fellow New Yorkers. That's been a tremendous breath of fresh air, like Max said, and I'm truly thankful to you, Governor. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Councilmember Chi Osei, and I just want to applaud Madam Governor for all of the things that she is doing to help rebuild the 36th district right here in Bed-Stuy, the center of the universe, and all of New York City. I also do want to acknowledge that one of my first jobs was actually in nightlife at 19 years old, and I understand the amount of the contribution that nightlife adds to our city as a whole, especially when it comes to rebuilding the fiscal needs that our city needs. In my first week in office, we met with a coalition of Black business owners, many of them in this room today, and many of the things that you got done are the things that they asked us to do and the city council to advocate for. So again, I applaud you. I thank you for making my job easier and making sure that these Black businesses, these women-owned businesses, can stay open and attract more visitors to our city, attract more visitors to Bed-Stuy and Crown Heights, because that's exactly what we need. There's so much that these businesses offer, and to give them an opportunity to offer even more than they already do is something that we all need. And I do just also want to acknowledge that I'm a son of a small business owner. This is something that my mother is just head over heels about. So to have her get to bring back the to-go drinks is something that she'll be very pleased to hear when I go back home today. So thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Cheers.
Are you buying?
Oh, yeah, yeah, drinks are on Zach. No, thank you for coming out today to cover this important announcement, which, as you heard from many of the speakers, this is transformative for an industry that was literally brought to its knees during the pandemic, and anything we can do to help lift up all small businesses, which is why I have a significant amount of money in my budget for small business in general, but also the businesses that were hit so hard, hospitality, restaurant, bars. And so we're here in Bed-Stuy today to unleash a whole new era in this industry, to liberate them from century-old restrictions that have no basis in reality anymore, now that the prohibition has been history. And I'm excited about opportunities like to-go drinks, a catalyst for bringing more money, more jobs, more opportunities to communities like this. And so breaking down barriers, making it easy for temporary licenses, to-go drinks, have a drink in a movie theater, get back to the theaters, and everybody just have a great time. So thank you.
Governor, I wanted to ask you, the Republicans held their convention this week and seemed to have a lot of enthusiasm and optimism about retaking Albany in the governor's position. Number one, why do you think they're wrong? And number two, a couple of moves in the last few weeks kind of disarmed some of the biggest talking points. The end of the mask mandates and the end of the ADUs, which have been in your budget proposal. Was that intentional at all? Because it certainly took the wind out a little bit.
No, I'm actually not focused on that whatsoever. I mean, the timing of the mask, for example, I announced that January 25th that there would be a process if the numbers continued on the trajectory that we're starting to see, that we would reevaluate around the time of the children having their winter break. As long as I got thousands and literally millions of masks to them, we would test. So all that was already in motion. So that was, and again, when the numbers are 1% in places like New York City and have met, the vast majority of the state is below the CDC requirements, and the CDC came out last Friday, I think that's a logical connection to make to our decision as opposed to anything that the other party may be doing. And the ADUs, I sat down and tried to talk to them, our leaders, our elected officials in places like Long Island, just to show a different approach in governing, that I will put out ideas. I still believe in creating more access to affordable housing, which is why I have $25 billion on the table that I'll be talking to the legislature about. So I want that to be a result. But there's different ways to accomplish that. And I shows a willingness to listen to people that are hearing from their constituents, who are also my constituents. So that is also, it really has nothing to do with the timing of this convention. So, and what I'm going to run on, we run on this record. We run on what we're doing here today in places like Bed-Stuy and Brooklyn. What we're doing in the Bronx yesterday, we brought the opportunity for 440 jobs in the life sciences space in an abandoned bakery that was an eyesore for since the 1970s. So we are continuing to govern with strength, getting us beyond this pandemic, focusing on the needs of New Yorkers, and getting through a budget. So we won't be concerned about our messaging going forward.
Governor Hochul, just if you could fill in any of these details on what we were talking about here today, like, are they going to be selling, obviously, wine, beer, and liquor, I guess. Are there any limitations, like on quantity, or do they have to sell food and alcohol together? Or is there any, like, plan as far as enforcement? I mean, as a former bad kid, I could see a lot of kids in Brooklyn calling at 15 years old and, ordering a couple of cocktails in with their pizza. And the delivery guy's just looking for his tip. He doesn't really want to see my driver's license, so what's the plan as far as that goes?
You wouldn't have done that, would you?
I totally would have done
Okay. We are actually in the process. What you do first is you propose the change, and then you have a regulation process. And so we'll be hearing from the public. You'll be seeing very specific regulations that come out from the State Liquor Authority on how all those issues will be dealt with. And yes, we want to make sure that the age for drinking, consuming alcohol is adhered to, working also to find out whether or not food is required. I don't believe it'll be necessary to have food associated with it. But it's all about just making it easier for these businesses. They have been through so much. And if we don't listen to them and help lift them up now, then we lose part of the charm of these neighborhoods. That's what we're up against. You lose a business like this, it doesn't come back. And you have a closed sign in the windows at a time when it should say open for business. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is turn the economy around, business by business, block by block, borough by borough, and all the counties in the state. This is an important part of that.
Time for one more.
What do you think the timeline is for this becoming law?
Very soon.
Or for being implemented,
No, it's all underway right now. So we have the temporary retail permit law is in place. The to-go drinks has to be part of the budget. And yes, there has been opposition in the past, but I'm willing to, take it to the people. You've heard from the businesses, we heard from consumers, and I believe that we're making a very strong case to get this passed. And then when it's passed is when you have the regulations that are going to be out there for public comment. The public will have a chance to weigh in on that, and then we'll take it from there. But as everyone knows, as we did with how fast I signed this into law, the temporary retail licenses, I signed it into law on December 22nd, and by mid-January, this woman, Angela, had her permit. So I'm very impatient. All right, thanks, everybody.